Welcome back. Today, what I want to talk about is what does quality actually mean? So, when you think of the word quality, what does it mean to you? What kind of thoughts come to your mind when you think about that term? And it's interesting because there are many, many, and in fact, in this case, we've listed 8 different dimensions of quality. And you'll find there are a number of these dimensions that have to do with materials, that have to do with the time and attention spent to create something, and features and things like that, where higher quality tends to cost more money. And then you'll find there's other aspects of the dimensions where higher quality is actually less expensive, and these coexist simultaneously. In fact, so the first one that commonly is there is performance. Now, this is about a product's primary operating characteristics. So if you're looking at a car, for example, this doesn't necessarily mean can it, accelerate at a particular speed and, is it able to handle curves a particular way, unless the car was specifically designed for that purpose, like a race car. The primary operating characteristics would basically be that it's designed to get up to 4 passengers from one place to another. And that's the primary operating characteristics. So a Toyota Corolla, or a Mercedes can do the same thing when it comes to this particular dimension. Another one is aesthetics, and aesthetics is really, really, really important for all humans. That's look, feel, sound, taste, color, things like that, right? When you go, again, to use the car example, most people would have difficulty buying a car that they didn't like the color of. And in fact, it's one of the reasons why they have different colors and different fabrics and all kinds of other things of the exact same vehicle, because if it's not pleasing to you, it's not going to appeal to you. So the aesthetics is a very, very, very important aspect. The reliability. So how likely is it that this product won't fail? Or how often does this product fail? Now, reliability is closely linked to durability that we'll talk about for a moment, but they are different things. So reliability, again, using the car, is when you get into it and you turn the key or press the button in the morning, how likely is it that it's going to start? That's reliability. Now, features is one of these aspects that when you tend to have higher features, you actually tend to have a higher perceived quality of any product or service. So these are things that enhance the product. This is where, back to the performance car, this is where features comes in, right? So, the engine, the tuned suspension, the things like that. These are all features that are another dimension of quality for that particular product. And as I said, generally speaking, products that position higher tend to have more features than the products that position lower. So the difference between, even within a manufacturer's line, the difference between a Corolla and a Lexus model, both of which are Toyota products, um, has more to do with feature and aesthetic differences than it does about performance and reliability. Now, durability. So this is about how long something lasts. And there are products are designed to work within a particular time frame. So a good example is a lot of electronics. Now, inherently, electronics tend to have a fairly long life because they tend not to have moving or wear components other than batteries and things like that. So a lot of them, once you get past the early life failure window, which is usually within, usually the first 72 hours or so of consistent usage, they'll continue to last and work for a very long period of time. However, in a lot of cases, the durability is not done to be something that works for 5 or 10 or 20 years. The product would never be used by the customer for that length of time. So they'll often build something with the durability that has to do with how long the customer will likely use this. The other thing that comes in is it often has to do with how this product is used. So I may make, let's say I make laptops. The laptops that I make for a consumer market will have different durability characteristics than a laptop that I make for a commercial market, which would have a different than laptops that I would make for severe service. So if I made laptops that were designated to go in police cars, for example, or to be used in military settings, the durability requirements would be higher for products in that space than they would be in a regular consumer space. Perceived quality. So these are the intangibles. These are the attributes of a product or service. And a lot of this relates to how we feel about the producer or the maker or the brand. And brand is really, really important because brand has a lot of value. Brand, without getting into too much details, brand is like an empty vessel. And we fill that vessel with meaning through the things that companies do and through the interactions that you and others have with their products or services. And this creates this view of what this thing is. And carefully constructed brands are incredibly valuable things. People pay more money for a shoe that has Nike on it than a shoe that has a name that they're not familiar with or one that they don't like. This goes a long way to how we view the quality of that particular product. Serviceability. So this has everything to do with how quickly can something be put right if it needs to be repaired. To some degree, you can also look at this from a standpoint of how quickly can someone start to use a particular product. So when I get something, can I open the box and take it out and get going right away? Or is there all kinds of configurations that I have to do? There are all kinds of extra things that I have to do. That would also fit into that same category. And then finally, conformance to standards. And this is one of the key things with quality, is quality isn't, and you'll find this out as we go through the a lot of the material that's attributed to Crosby, is that conformance to standards is one of the key facets of quality. It's not about goodliness, and it's not about how high a mechanical tolerance that we can create on something. It's about what is it meant to do. The product that is meant to service a particular market or need, what are the standards for that? Now, sometimes the standards will be set by safety agencies. Sometimes the standards will be set by organizations themselves that are consuming these products. But in many cases, it's an interplay of a number of these different things. And ultimately, you're going to come up with a product that fits, or service that fits a particular demographic. And like the example I give with the laptops, the same sort of laptop components internally, positioned at different markets and different circumstances, create different products. And the standards for those products change depending on the use case. Like how, if you look at a power tools, for example, so the drills that you sell to a regular, household consumers have certain durability characteristics. The ones that are intended for contractors have higher durability because they're going to get used more and they're probably going to have more wear, right? That makes two different products. And the standards between those two, to some degree, will be different because they're supposed to go to two different sections of the market. Now, there's all kinds of information in Chapter 11 of the textbook under the various means of qualities and drivers and stuff like that that you should cover off and make sure that you're familiar with. In a nutshell, quality is fitness for use. So that's how does it fit with the design? How does it fit with the needs of the customers themselves? Now, you will find that quality is inversely proportional to variability. And what I mean by that is the less variability, the higher the quality. Now, this is definitely true when we look at the dimensions of quality that are about efficiency and about effectiveness and about tolerance to dimensions and things like that. And these are a lot of the pieces that are attributable to higher quality costing less. We can look at the quick example we've got up here. So this is probably from sometime in the 1980s, I'm going to guess. And it's showing warranty costs for vehicle transmissions. So American manufacturer, Japanese manufacturer. So one of the things that you see is the warranty costs are much, much higher on the US example than the Japanese example. But when you look at the distributions of the critical dimensions, right? So how tight are the tolerances? That you'll find there's a very narrow band for the Japanese product, but a much wider one under the United States. And this has an awful lot to do with that tolerance, that fit and finish, those dimensions of quality. And those dimensions of quality also have play a key role in how well does the product work as it's supposed to? How durable it is? How, does it have the reliability? And you'll find that in a lot of cases, all of these dimensions are interwoven with each other, and things that you do in one space have effects on other aspects or other parts of those dimensions. Now, the next few slides have some historical information for history of different quality improvement pieces that you see here. And then here is a diagram that actually shows you the roots of where Lean Six Sigma, which is a commoditized version of the Toyota production system, where its origins and roots actually come from.